Hey there, how's it going? I'm here in Mendocino County, the area where I was raised. My epic South American journey has finished. I spent 3 months in Colombia, Peru, and Ecuador, and flew back to the United States 2 weeks ago or so, visited my dad in Colorado, and then I'm out here now visiting my mom who lives in the town near here. And so I'm hiking up this park, a area where I've spent a lot of time throughout my life because I've been in this area since I was 5 years old. I was raised in the small town of Willits, which is the next town up north of here, and then my mom lives here in Ukiah, and this here is Logap Park. And so there's a disc golf course here and nice little hiking trails, a nice spot just a few minutes out of town to get out into nature. So this video is on the subject of spirituality and the real world. And this topic was sparked by a comment that somebody left under a video from about a year ago when I was in Hawaii. The comment was just a couple of days ago, but the video was when I was in Hawaii a year ago, and I was camping at the time, and I recorded a video in the rainforest where I was being accosted by mosquitoes and was swatting at some of them. And so somebody posted a long comment on the subject matter, and then said the reason that I was having to swat the mosquitoes was because I was out of sync with God's law, and thus felt the need to defend myself in a situation where if I was in greater alignment, then I wouldn't be bothered by the mosquitoes. Now, this is certainly worth considering. Absolutely. I'm not going to say you're wrong, you're full of shit, that doesn't make any sense, etc. But I have to wonder, how much time has this person really spent in nature, in places where you're being, harassed and bitten by bugs? I don't know if you've noticed, but if you've watched a few of my videos, you may have noticed that I record a lot of them outside, because I spend a fair amount of time outside and enjoy nature, and I think that it is a little bit more interesting oftentimes to make these videos outdoors and get some interesting scenery along the way and just kind of feel that outside energy. It's a bit of a chilly day here, day before Christmas. It's Northern California, so it isn't, it isn't Alaska, it isn't Canada. This is, as cold as it gets pretty much for winter. It can snow, but unlikely. But feeling the elements here and immersing myself in the trees a little bit. And so, there's something to be said for that real raw outdoors experience, and the unpredictability and the unpleasantness and uncomfortableness and the challenge, and you have to be prepared for the conditions. I'm pretty well set here with my hiking boots and good warm hat and jacket, but it's real life. That's the point. It's real life, and real life is not easy. It is not within your control. You have to adjust yourself and deal with the conditions that are presented to you. You can't just switch the thermostat and be like, okay, I'm 2 degrees too cold right now, warm it up a little bit. It isn't that easy. And so, to this person, I have to say, how much time have you actually spent in a swarm of mosquitoes? And can you actually say, I've been there, I've been immersed in a Hawaiian jungle or wherever, where mosquitoes are harassing me, and they didn't bother me. I was able to be so in tune with God's law that the mosquitoes just said, whoa, this guy's, too high vibrating of a guy for me. We're just going to not bother him, respect his spiritual attunement with the universe, and leave him alone. I'd be curious to hear from this person. Send me a video if you have one of you immersed in a swarm of mosquitoes that are completely not bothering you and keeping their distance. Now the point here, to get to kind of some more meaty discussion material, so to speak, is to what extent can you apply your spiritual beliefs, ideals, philosophy, opinions, conclusions to the real world? Because if you're going to tell me that I'm out of alignment with God's law, which might be true, and that is why the mosquitoes are bothering me, what is that based on? Have you actually been there? Have you actually applied this belief that you have that if the bugs are bugging you, it's because of your lack of alignment? Have you actually applied that to the real world in nature where the bugs are, to the extent that you can say it works? It works. I've done it. I've experienced it. I have implemented this consciousness configuration, thought paradigm of mine to the real world and embedded it in that reality to the extent that it actually is effective. And that's the point here, is that to have spiritual ideals that sound fancy schmancy, that make you feel high and mighty, that sound good to you, that would be nice and pleasant and convenient if they were true. It's one thing to have those thoughts, those ideas, those beliefs, but can you actually make it work in the real world? Because if you can't, then shut up. Pardon me, but seriously, if it's just a thought in your head and you haven't actually applied it to the real world outside of your head, then it's useless. I mean, you can think about that stuff all you want. You can have your beliefs and your opinions and formulate your ideas, but spirituality really needs to be something that is connected with the real physical world. Spirituality is not just about the heavens, the spirit realm, your soul. It is about connecting that realm with the real world that we are immersed in now. As long as we're in this human body, having this life. Wow, cool. There's some deer ahead. We'll see if they get scared away. Okay, I'm going to be quiet here and see how close I can get to these guys. 4 of them there. Check it out, pretty cool. Some real wildlife. Alright, I'm going to walk up there. The trail goes right by them. See if they run off, which they probably will. But they are aware of me and not too skittish. Deer around here are pretty, used to humans and houses and stuff. Yeah, check it out. I'm getting pretty close. Hey guys. Hi. How's it going? Nice day, huh? Pretty cool. Alright, so a little taste of nature here. Have a good one. Don't mind me. I'm just talking to myself. And so, spirituality, what is that? What does that mean? There are lots of different ways to define it. Some people object to the term at all. But in my mind, then, spirituality is about that recognition of a spirit, a soul, that the physical world is not all that exists. Scientific materialism is not the final answer, in my opinion, and that of many others, that we are not just a body, we are not just neurons firing that are causing our thoughts, as if our subjective consciousness experience is simply a result of chemical reactions in our brain. It is the opposite. It is that our consciousness, our non-physical self, is prime, is actually the eternal part of our self, and that this physical body is something we are inhabiting for the experience for a temporary period of time, and yet our soul, our consciousness, our awareness of being will continue on beyond this, because there is another layer of reality embedded in, transposed on this physical world, which we can't necessarily see with our physical eyes, but which does exist. And so the spiritual path is about getting more in touch with our spirit, the infinite, eternal aspect of our self, and that world that exists beyond this physical world, in order to get more in touch with ourselves, in order to really truly know better who we actually are. However, and so this is the big sort of crucial point, which is that a lot of times people take this spirituality thing and say the physical body, the physical world is not real, it's illusory, it's impermanent, it is not the true nature of reality, and therefore deny it, therefore try to get beyond it. And so they swing the pendulum the other way. And so they say the physical world is unreal, the spiritual realm, that's what's real, and so forget about the physical world. And what I would say is that they're both equally real in a sense, but the spiritual realm is the originator of the physical world. And so the spiritual realm is more consequential, more permanent, but the physical world is part of that realm, just in a different form, and it is no less divine, no less spiritual, no less a creation of God. It is just a different expression, a different realm of being. And here we are, that's the point. We are here in this physical body, in this physical world, and we'll be here for quite possibly decades more to come. And so, we're in this world that is being ravaged by a lack of alignment, being out of touch with the natural world. A lot of people don't get to experience something like this, walking around in the woods, seeing deer, and so the environment is under attack, and there is great imbalance in our world, both in human societies, in our relationships with animals, with nature. And so there are absolutely massive problems in this physical realm, and that is creating great suffering and difficulty and challenge for people and animals that doesn't have to be there. And so fixing things in this physical world is important, and thus having spiritual ideals that you can truly embed into, manifest into the physical world. So it may very well be that one could be so in alignment with God's law, with the universal divine truth, that they could sit amongst a swarm of mosquitoes hungry for human blood, and yet which would not bother you. I do believe that is possible. And so it very well may be the case that I am not in full alignment. But I don't know. Maybe that's just total bullshit. Either way, the person saying this, what true experience do they have in applying that belief that they espoused in that comment? Have they actually experienced that? And if you haven't actually experienced that, if that's just a thought in your head, you should be able to sit there talking amongst thousands of mosquitoes buzzing around you and not be bothered by them. There's no point in saying it. There's no point in deluding yourself into thinking that that is a real concept if you haven't actually experienced it for yourself, displayed it by example yourself in the real world. So forget about these spiritual ideas that sound nice, all is one and you are infinitely powerful and all these good sounding new age things that are, perfectly fine to say, and if they make you feel better, then cool. But it's important to have that knowledge, that understanding of, can you actually make a difference in the real world with the spiritual belief system that you are formulating and espousing? To what extent can you actually, embed that into the density of the physical realm? Because I do think that a lot of spiritual people can be quite out of touch with the real world. And it is certainly one of my own personal ways of living, which is to engage in the real world. I've been traveling around the world for 25 years. I've spent months and months of my life in nature, backpacking solo in the wilderness. I've been trekking in the Himalayas of Nepal in winter by myself. I've been in many situations, more deer. I've been in many very challenging, unfamiliar situations in foreign countries with people who I, don't speak the language with and who may even be suspicious of or hostile towards me or whatever, because I seek out real life experiences and challenging ones and ones that push me out of my comfort zone. Looking out at the Ukiah, city of Ukiah in the valley here, that is Highway 101 out there, going north that way and then south down that way towards San Francisco, about 2.5 hours down the highway there. And so it's just something to keep in mind, is to what extent are you kind of maybe in your bubble of spirituality and playing with these ideas and thinking you've got the right ones and got them figured out. And then to what extent can you actually go out into the real world and apply them and make them work and actually impact the world, relate with people in such a way that your efforts are effective and bring about positive results. And as for, mosquitoes, I don't think that killing mosquitoes is wrong. You get bit by mosquitoes when especially you're camping somewhere, and you're likely to be feeling that sting for many hours or longer. And if bugs are going to harass and try to bite and sting me, then I'm not just going to sit there and let it happen. I'm going to very likely slap at them, and if they die, then that's the way it goes. But death is a part of life. Destruction is a part of the cycles of nature, the process of existence. And personally, I don't hold a philosophy that killing bugs is wrong and I should just deal with the pain in order to not bother them while they try to bite me. So if I get to a point where I'm not high vibrating, not in tune, that I can sit there and be in my meditative state of bliss with the mosquitoes and the flies and whatever buzzing around me, and yet they don't bother me because they just respect the energy field that I'm emitting that keeps them at bay or whatever, then that's great. But until I get to that point, then I'm not going to put up with mosquitoes trying to suck my blood. All right, thanks for watching. Take it easy.